Okay. Hello everyone. Good evening, and a happy Easter to every one of us joining on this webinar. Um, Today's webinar will be on the topic how to land a data analyst role, and our speaker is here with us, Mr. Gbenga Adeyemo. He is a business intelligence and automation analyst at Afya Care, and is going to be sharing his knowledge with us on the different tips, the different things that we need to know, and how to get that data analyst role that you and we are all dreaming of. So I'd love to bring him up on stage now. Mr. Benga, are you here with us? Yeah, I believe so. Good evening, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Please give me like 2 minutes to set up my headset. Just two
Oh,
minutes.
that's fine. That's fine. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So we welcome those that are joining us through the YouTube channel. Let's ensure that we should pay utmost attention. And if you have any form of questions, you can put it in the comment section so that we can answer it. So let's just give Mr. Gbenga a few minutes to set up, and then we begin the webinar. Thank you. Yeah, we can see everyone joining in through the YouTube channel. We welcome everyone. So let's wait for a few minutes before we get started.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yes, we can hear you, Mr. Gbenga. Thank you. We
Let me
can
see
hear
my
you.
screen.
Yeah, we can see your screen, but you've not started sharing your slide though.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. So sorry, I'm just sharing my screen now. I had a little bit of issues with my headset, so I'm just going to present like that. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining the today's webinar. And the topic we are about to talk about today is how you can land a data analyst role. Well, everything I'm going to be saying today will be based on my own personal experience, right? Uh, I'll put a disclaimer, right, to say that whatever you are about to hear today, or whatever I'm about to say, is just based on my own personal experience. There's no straightforward way to land a data analyst job. What works for A might not work for B, and what works for B might not work for A. About me, I'm Adeyemo Gbenga Samuel. Once again, thank you for joining. I'm a data analyst and I'm also a business intelligence analyst. Before I start or go into the real reason why we are here, I'm just going to like explain some of the basic things about data analytics to us so that we can have a recap of what the career path is all about and some of the basic things that you need to understand before you can even say you want to even look for a job, right? Okay, let's start there. Now, all of us are we've heard in at one point or the other what is data, what is data, and we're also going to talk about some of the basic concepts related to data and analytics, right? Now, this is a quote from Peter Sondergaard that says that data is the oil of the 21st century and analytics is the combustion engine, right? What does that mean? Data is the oil. Just look at an engine, for example, a car engine, for example. A car engine cannot function if it does not have enough oil, right? Enough oil will make an engine function well, right? So there is no analytics if there's no data because data is the basics for analytics, right? Now let's look at data. Now data is defined by different school of taught in different ways, right? There's no agreed definition to some of the concepts that relates to data and analytics, right? Now, different school of thought different they are define data in different ways. Now, let's look at the example from 365datascience.com that says that data in the context of business and computing is referred to as the information stored in digital format, which can be used as the basis for analysis and decision making. It means that in terms of business and computing, we refer to data as the information stored in digital format. And when they say digital format, that means data stored on a computer system, right? Which can be used as the basis for analysis and making decision. Now, according to this school of thought, there are two types of data. We have the traditional data, which is data in form of a table, in terms of numerical and text values. Well, when we say talk about traditional data, it is always structured and stored in databases and can be managed from just one computer, right? But on the other hand, we have big data, which is a term that is reserved for extremely large data. Now, it can be in various formats. It can be structured, it can be unstructured, and it can be semi-structured. Now, I'm going to explain that. Look at an example of structured data, right? If you look at your left, you are going to see a data in an Excel file, right? Look at all the way it is arranged in terms of rows and columns, right? It's a table. And if you look at to your right, you're going to see something like a data from an SQL server, right? Look at it's well arranged in terms of rows and columns too. So this is an example of a structured data, right? Semi-structured data, on the other hand, it's a combination of both structured and unstructured. If you look at what is written here, right, it does not have a tabular format like the way you have a structured data, right? We have text, we have values inside it, but not well arranged at what you have in a structured data. So this is semi-structured. It's a combination of a structured data and an unstructured data, right? Now look at an example of an unstructured data. Look at the picture, right? Pictures, videos are all examples of an unstructured data. Look at comments on the Twitter, on the Twitter handle, on the Twitter post, right? These are examples of unstructured data. Now, let's now move to what is data analytics itself, right? What is data analytics? Now, data analytics is the process of examining data, right? You examine a data set in order to draw conclusions. You know, they always say that data in its raw state, like data in its raw state, is useless unless you examine that data, right? So, analytics is being able to examine that data and drawing out conclusions from that data, because that data entails a lot of information, right? Now, there is, before you can analyze data, there are specialized softwares and systems that have been put in place. We are still going to go into that fully, that have been put in place for you to be able to perform this function. That means data analytics is not something that you do with traditional methods or traditional tools. There are specialized softwares and systems that have been developed for you to carry out this process. Now, there's something I need to explain here. Now, we've all heard about data analysis and we've heard about data analytics. The two are different. Well, from my own school of thought, I would say that data analysis is you examining past events, past data, past occurrence, trying to explain what happened, right? But when you say data analytics, it goes beyond just analyzing past trends, past events, right? It is insights plus analysis that makes up data analytics, right? Insights plus analysis. So when you've explained the past, when you understand the past trends, what are the insights that you're bringing out from that? What are those insights that can help future occurrence? What are those insights that can, improve the business? So that is data analytics. So data analysis is data analysis plus insights, right? Now, let me to the concepts of business intelligence. Now, business intelligence is a tech driven process of analyzing data and delivering actionable information that helps executives, managers, and workers make informed business decisions. So, what are we saying here? BI is more encompassing than data analytics, right? Business intelligence encompasses more than data analysis. It is more, it is on a wider scale than data, or let me say DA, than data analytics. Now, business intelligence involves that process that comes from the stage of you even gathering the data, understanding the architecture of how your data is going to be stored, right? From analyzing that data, bringing out insights, then sharing those recommendations with stakeholders. Stakeholders are those that need that information to make decision, right? Now, the ultimate goal of every business intelligence initiative, and well, let me say the reason why an organization wants to employ you as a data or BI analyst is that they want you to help them increase their revenue, right? When you analyze their data and you understand the data and you can bring out some of the lapses, right? You can bring out some of the weaknesses of that data. That can also help the company to reduce costs, for example, increase their revenue, improve their operational efficiency. Every company has the way they operate, like they have a way they do their business, right? They have a way they carry out their daily activities. They have a channel at which their services get to the customers intended, right? Now, every company wants to improve on these processes, right? So, as a data or business intelligence analyst, they are not only employing you because of your technical skill alone. You must also have a knowledge about the business, about that industry, about that business, and how you can help them gain advantage over their rivals. For every business, right? There's always a rival. There's always somebody doing exactly what you are doing. There's always somebody doing better than what you are doing, who you are looking up to. It's always somebody that is underperforming the market. They are trying to outshine, right? All of these are competitors. They are business rivals. So you need to help the company, outgrow or gain advantage over these business rivals. Now, to achieve every business intelligence goal, business intelligence, as I said earlier, incorporate a lot of other things, right? Number one is analytics, which I have explained earlier. Data management, that's a topic on its own, right? The use of reporting tools, you know, there are different types of tools that we have, right? You must understand what tool fit into your business goal, fit into the kind of metrics that you want to track, and how efficient are all of these tools. We are still going to get to that, right? Plus various methodologies for managing, analyzing data. Now, this is kind of contextual because the way you analyze your data will depend on the kind of industry you have, the kind of metrics you have, the kind of the way the organization is structured determines the kind of methodology that you use to analyze and manage that company's data, right? Now, another concept that you need to really understand as somebody that is looking for a data analyst job or a BI job, you must understand the concept of data visualization, right? Before you can be called a data or a business intelligence analyst, you must know how to visualize data. Now, what does it even mean to visualize data? Or what's the advantage of being able to visualize data? Now, the advantage is that data visualization helps stakeholders, that is, those that make decisions in an organization, and other team members, because it provides them with quality information, because you have transformed a large amount or a massive amount of intangible data into easily understandable pictures and graphics, right? Now, you have a very large data set, right? And you've been able to transform that data set into visuals, easily understandable visuals that stakeholders can easily comprehend, right? It makes decision making faster, right? It makes the reporting accessible, right, to them. Now, business stakeholders can actually make decisions on time when they have the reporting at hand. They have the reporting at the tip of their finger. They can use their phone and check and see the sales of yesterday, the sales of week 30, the sale, what happened in week 5. All of this information is at the tip of their finger. So it's easier for them to quickly make the right business decisions at every point in time. Now, there's a research that says that the human brain cannot easily comprehend large amounts of numbers or text at once, right? Now, the human brain is not wired in such a way that it can understand large amounts of numbers or text at once, right? That is why it needs a visual representation to make sense of what is seeing. Just imagine you come to me now and give me a 1 million rows of data. What would I use that for? Nothing. I can't bring out any insight from that. I can't generate any report from that, right? Unless you visualize it for me. And when you say visualization, it's a summarized version of what you have in your data set or in your large data set, right? Now, imagine, what if you give me this kind of data instead of view my data like this? I can view my data like this. Which one is better? Of course, number two view is better because it's a summarized version of what you have in number one, right? You see the graph showing the trends, showing the percentages, showing the spread of sales over different regions, and all of the expenses, the bookings, all of those are in a graphical representation, which makes it very easy for anybody seeing this to quickly comprehend what they are seeing, right? To quickly understand what they are seeing, right? This is a Power BI a dashboard, an example of a Power BI dashboard, right? Now, there are processes involved in analyzing data. I'm going to run through this fast because of our time. Now, the first step is to determine data requirements. How do you want to segment or group this data? Are you grouping the data in terms of age or demographic or income or gender? Data values may be numerical, or depending on type of data value you want to attach to each different data types, right? Now, the second step is that in data analytics is for you to determine the process by which you want to use in collecting your data, right? You can use online sources, computer, cameras, environmental sources, or through personnel. There are different ways data collection can be done, right? When your data is collected, it must be organized and analyzed in such a way that people can understand, right? You must clean that data up, right, before analyzing. Then you can now start, visualizing that data. So that's just like a summarized way of analyzing your data. Now, you need to understand what is a database, right? A database is an organized collection of data stored and accessed electronically from a computer system, right? We have different types of databases depending on your organization, what they can afford, and their structure determines what kind of database that they can use. The general one that we all know is SQL Server, is Oracle, is MySQL, there's Postgre, there's IBM Database 2, Apache Cassandra, MongoDB. There's a lot and a lot of databases. You need to understand database management system, right? Before you can say, oh, I want to look for a job or I'm a data analyst, right? You need to understand some of these basic concepts. Now, let's look at an example of how data analytics has helped in various sectors, right? Let's look at let's look at fraud detection for companies that give out loans, for example. Now, so many companies they've run into debt because they do not know where even this so-called debt is coming from. And one of the core reasons for this debt is because of fraud in the system, right? There are so many times that companies lose money because they don't know where this debt is even, the origin of the debt. Now, so for example, some companies use data analytics to detect fraud within the system, right? For example, they use what they call divide and conquer policy, which involves analyzing data, understanding their expenditure. How much are they spending? Some of these things are what are affecting some of our so-called startups in Nigeria. They have more expenses than their income, right? They just recruit a lot of staff. They don't even understand, how this thing works. But when you have a data analyst in place that analyzes your expenditure, your expenses, and what is your profitability, then this guide your decision making in terms of other things, even in terms of recruitment. You understand what I'm saying now? So fraud detection is also something that data analytics has helped companies to actually, to actually improve on. They've Analyzing data has helped them to improve on fraud detection and to understand where all their expenditures are going to profile their processes, right? And to understand information embedded in their data, right? Now, what this will do is that with the help of data analytics, it will help to, lower the risk and also lower the fraud going on with the system in an organization. Now, companies like DHL, FedEx, that's in terms of logistics, they've been able to use GPS, right, for example, to also improve on their cost efficiency, right? For example, they know, for example, what is the shortest route to get to a particular location, right? To deliver a particular goods and services to customers, right? Shipping route, road route, delivery time, all of these things, as they gather this data and analyze them, it helps them to be more cost efficient. Those are examples of how data analytics has helped companies, right? Uh, in the healthcare sector, for example, right, data analytics has helped companies to understand their costs. Because some of the so-called healthcare machineries are very expensive, and also you also help companies to also understand their patients profile. To understand how patient get treatment, the quality of the treatment, the profile of the healthcare workers that they have, and how that has in turn helped them to gain profitability. So those are things that data analytics has also helped companies to be able to achieve, right? Look at an example of this is an example of an healthcare dashboard that showcases all departments throughout an organization: the surgery, pediatrics, orthopedics, internal medicine, gynecology, pediatrics. All of these things are things that have helped, which data analytics, being able to even visualize the data, analyze it to make stakeholders understand the business stand at every point in time is something that will help their decision making at every point in time. Now, in banking, for example, right, DA has helped organizations to be able to do what is called customer segmentation, right? What that means is that they've been able to segment their customers based on different criterias that they use internally. And this will also help them to understand the kind of products and services that is being advertised to different customer segments, right? To also help them improve on their profitability, right? For example, now data analytics has helped them to be able to achieve customer segmentation, right, and also increase revenue in terms of maybe 30 to 20%, right? Now, let's move to the real topic of today: how to get a job as a data analyst. Let's look at the step-by-step processes that you can go through, and I'm going to give you my own personal example, right, to see how I went about getting data analyst jobs. Now, the first thing is that you learn data analytics skills and earn a certification, right? For example, when I was about going to this career path, I took a full-time course with a company called NIT. I used for like 8 months. It was meant to be an 8 month program then, but because of COVID-19, spent more than 1 year. And some of the things I learned there was Excel, advanced level Excel, Power BI, SQL, Python, R, and machine learning basics, not really something in depth, right? So the first stage is that you learn data analytics. Now, there are different ways you can learn data analytics. For example, what Octave is offering you, right, is an example of what we are talking about in number one, right? You must learn first. You've learned the skill, right? You've earned the certification. That's the first thing. You've done projects. You've worked on projects. Now, the next thing is for you to build a good online profile for yourself. And when we talk about building online profile, where does that start from? For example, your LinkedIn. How well is your LinkedIn package? What you post on LinkedIn, does it showcase you talking about your skill and what you are passionate about? Right? LinkedIn is a very important platform that you must work on in terms of you building a good online profile. Now, for example, my own personal example, I got my first data analyst job on LinkedIn. Now, as at that time, I met somebody who was a staff at Custodian Insurance. Uh, he's a good person to me, really, because I met him on LinkedIn. I was the one that gave me my first platform, like my first opportunity to work as a data analyst. I worked with Nigerian bureaus, even though it was on a contract basis then. But the fact remains that I met this person on LinkedIn, and it was the one that linked me to my first data analyst job. So to tell you the power of LinkedIn, right? And the power of building a good online profile. Now, now there are different platforms that you can also build profile, right? For example, you can use Google. Is it Google? What's it called? Google. I've forgotten the name. There's a Google platform where you can go to that you can build your portfolio, right? You can build your portfolio. You can build your portfolios and showcase your skill. Talk about your work experience. Talk about what you're passionate about. Write a good entry statement for yourself, right? And also you can also showcase some of your dashboards and some of those projects that you worked on. Talk about those projects, right? You can talk about those projects on those online platforms. I'm also going to talk about more of those online platforms where you can showcase your profile, right? Now the third point here is networking. In fact, this you should do more of networking than any other thing. Now I'm going to talk about the power of networking for you. Now networking has really helped me a lot in this my career as a data analyst, right? Number one, I told you that after I finished my program, that was in 2020 September. I finished my program 2020 September, and I got a job in November of that same year. That's like just like 2 months space. I got my analyst job, and I didn't start from internship. Oh. I got a full time role, even though it was contract basis. I got a full time role with Nigerian business at that time, and it was through LinkedIn. Right? What did I do different? I went on LinkedIn, packaged my profile. I reached out to people that have been in this field for more than 5 6 years, that are well versed, that has the connections. I reached out to them that was looking for a job. The first part about my own was that they started posting. So I posted what's it called on LinkedIn then, open to work, and people started reposting. People that don't even know me from Adam, that they don't know me at all. We've not even like we've not spoken before. We've not had any chat before. They started reposting my CV on LinkedIn. That was when I met people like Fatai Sonny. I met guys like Adewale Yusuf of the Brand Consulting. I met Ebok Ephraim. He's now in the UK working for PwC. So at that time, he was in custodian before he left for KPMG. I started meeting all of those big boys in data. I started meeting them. I started throwing out my CV to them. I started reminding them that I needed a job. I have the skill. I just finished a program with NIT. Blah blah blah. I was looking for a job, and before people started sending me job adverts they have in the organizations. Although there were some that I did interview, I didn't do well in the interview because I was still a newbie. I didn't do well in those interviews, and they were expecting some of the big things from me, but I didn't have it, so I didn't get those jobs as at that time. You know, I was willing to start doing interviews with some companies. And that was how, even though as a newbie at that time, I got interviewed with Airtel. As at that time, I got interviewed by Airtel, where it was like 4 stages. Although I didn't eventually get a job as at that time, but because I just felt like my skill was not enough as at that time. I was still a newbie, right? So networking is everything. Networking is everything. Try to go on LinkedIn, network with people. Don't be shy. Like tell them you're looking for a job. Tell them you have the skill, that you just finished a program with Octave, and you're looking for an opportunity to work somewhere to gain experience. Funny enough, you will just start seeing people, start sending you job adverts, start telling you there's a chance somewhere. Are you up for an interview? Some even tell you, let me help you review your LinkedIn. Now note that it's not everybody that's going to answer you. Some will not even answer you at all. Some will ignore your chat on LinkedIn. Some will not reply. But you must not give up at all. At any point, you must not give up. Reach out to as many as you can. Don't give up at any point in time. Some will answer you, some will not answer you. To people that don't answer you, don't care about them. Just move on. Reach out to as many as you can. Networking is very important. Now, back to networking, right? You can also join data communities online, maybe on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, on Telegram. There are so many Excel user group of Nigeria, Power BI Nigerian users, Power Platform Nigeria group. There's a lot of communities that you can join, and you're going to meet a lot of people there that you can network. When there's a chance in their place of work, you're going to reach out to the group and say, "Oh, is there anybody up here for a Power BI job? Is there anybody?" There are so many times that through committees have gotten so many side gigs that they will tell you, oh, there's a Power BI training somewhere in Yaba. Come and do it just for 5 days, 300,000, 250,000, 200K. Just do Power BI training, cash out your money, and that's it. And how am I getting this kind of side gigs? It's through networking. It's because I have joined some community groups, and somebody somewhere have posted a side gig or an opportunity, and I will reach out to the person and say, bros, please, I'm interested in this thing. Say, okay, I'll link you up with the person involved, do a mini interview, and that's it. I remember that when I was about to get my data analyst job in my former organization, that's AB InBev, I got that job through a WhatsApp group. Can you imagine that? The funniest part was that I've even shared the link with so many people in my own group also, like shared with so many people before I even applied. Right? And by the time I was to apply, I got the interview invite. I built the Power BI dashboard. That was like the task we were given, like eight in that interview. I built the Power BI dashboard for them. I presented my insights, and that was how I got the job. If I didn't join that WhatsApp group, there was no how I would know that there was a job somewhere. So very important is that you must join WhatsApp groups, you must join Telegram group, join groups on LinkedIn, network with people, talk to people. Most of the data analyst jobs, you will not see them online. You will not see them on jobgurus.com. You will not see them on jobnigerians.com. You will see them in community groups. Most of the good jobs are hidden, they are not online, because it's just this is the simple way it works. I work in a company, or I'm about leaving an organization, for example, for me for a better job, and the HR says, "Can you give us someone that will replace you?" I won't post that online. I'll go to my community group and post that. And people will reach out to me and say, I'm interested, I'm interested. And I'll say, okay, send your CV. Let me send it to the HR. Then it's left for you to do the interview well. Then you get the job. That's the way it works. Networking is very important. Join community, meet people, right? Now, another example for point number 4 is that you can intern for free. See, the thing about tech is that when you start, you will not make that money, that big money you are thinking of when you start. If there's anybody telling you that by the time you finish a program, you are going to start getting paid in dollars, it's a big lie. There's nothing like that. You have to pay the price, you have to sacrifice, you have to pay your price. Like, do what you can do. Everything in life is the stages, right? Now, the first thing is that if you find a place you can intern, whether for little money, for little amounts of stipend or for free. Please do it. Go for it. Right? If you want to start with internship, you can start your own career with internship. You can also start with volunteering. Let me give a typical example. Before I started training, because at the time I was undergoing my program, I now sat down and said, okay, let me start teaching people for free. So I now gathered some friends in my church. I started telling them about data analytics because some of them don't know about data analytics and some of the things that we do as a data analyst. As at then, I was still in my program, right? Now I just started doing that and I saw that, oh, I think I can teach this thing. So that was how I started. Now, next thing I did was now to organize an Excel training in my church. I started with youth in my church. I gathered people around from Ibadan and Lagos, and right, we did an Excel training, and that was how I started. I started training people. As at that in that training, then we had like and Ibadan and 10 came from Lagos. And that was how I started. That was how I started getting little money from teaching people data analytics. As at then, right? As at then, right? If I started with 1,000 naira per person, like it was that small, right? I started teaching people for 1,000 naira. It was that small. Like I mean, advanced Excel, Power Query, Power Pivot, VLOOKUP, and the rest. I was teaching them for 1,000 naira, right? Later on, when I started gaining grants on LinkedIn small, small, I moved that money to 5,000 naira per person. Later, 10,000 naira per person. Later, 50,000 naira. And it was going up like that. So that is how I started my own journey. Like volunteering, from volunteering, you can even see people that will say, oh, please, can you teach me this thing? How much should I pay? And you guys negotiate and you start making your money. That's the way it works for any tech career path. Now, internship is a good way to start. Volunteering, by the time you volunteer, you also network, right? Volunteer, you also network, right? uh the good thing is that by the time you volunteer, you start meeting people from those volunteering platforms. Before you know, people start reaching out to you. That can you do this? Can you do that? Can you work on this project? How much do you want to take for this project? Then you guys will negotiate and you make your money. Then don't give up. When you see a job advert, please don't give up. You don't have to have 100% of the requirements for that job before you can apply for a job. If a job says we need Excel, Power BI, SQL, right? If you know Excel well, you know Power BI, but maybe your SQL is not that strong to some extent, you can still apply. There are so many things that you will still learn on the job. There are so many projects that you will still work on. By this time you resume on that job, there's so many things that you will still do. So please and please, when you see a job advert, don't say, I can't apply. I don't have all the skills required. Still apply. If they see that you are very good in two out of three, they might still consider you for that job and give you the chance for you to be able to develop yourself, while doing or while working on that job or that project. So that is one of the things. Now, another thing you can build your portfolio, how you can build your portfolio is that you work on projects. Go to Kaggle, for example, take data sets, work on them, clean it, build a dashboard, visualize it, talk about the project, talk about the challenges you faced, go out build those reports and dashboard. Talk about some of the DAX formulas that you used and how you were able to maneuver your results by using DAX to get it. Talk about data modeling. Talk about the interesting things that you did while doing that project, and showcase that on different platforms like LinkedIn, like Medium.com. All of those platforms showcase your skill. They talk about what you are passionate about. And before you know, you will start gaining ground. People will start knowing you. They will start labeling that career path to your name, and that's the way it works. Now, another thing I want to say is that not everybody we work in a corporate setting, or we work in an official setting, or work in an office setting. Now, know that the way life works for everybody is different, right? Now, if you can't get a corporate office job, there are several freelance platforms that you can go to. For example, Fiverr, Upwork, right? Those are the ones I know very well. So I know guys that do Upwork, that do Fiverr, and they are doing fine. They are getting paid in dollars, even though the money might be little, but when you gather little money together, it becomes something, right? So not everybody's going to might end up getting an office kind of work or a corporate kind of organization. Some people will work as a freelance throughout their career. Some people will work work corporate for a while and start doing full-time freelancing. So it all works for different people in different ways, right? So go to Upwork, open an account, watch videos on how you can, boost your Upwork profile, how you can boost your Fiverr profile, and start applying for jobs, start reaching out to potential clients that can give you these jobs, right? So those are some of the ways. Now, for example, I started this career in 2020 fully. That's when I got my first data analyst job. I've worked with Nigerian bureaus before. I've worked with a startup in Ibadan called Alexo Limited. I've worked with AB InBev, which we know as in Nigeria, the arm is or the subsidiary is International Breweries, right? And currently, I'm working with Afya Care. It's an healthcare company in Ikoyi. This will be my fourth job, and I started this career fully in 2020. So it does not matter when you start. It does not matter when you start. I know somebody that worked in a place before. He's so good as Power BI to the point that he was made the team lead over even those that have been in that career before him, right? So it does not matter where you start. If you are good, you are good. If you are good at what you do, you are good. Just gain knowledge, watch YouTube videos, enroll for as many certifications as you can do, enroll for classes, enroll for webinars, network with people, build good profile, good online profile, and all of those things. If you do all of it, you follow all of those things, I know that the sky is the limit to what you can do. And when you eventually get a job, please don't be relaxed and say, yes, I have arrived. I've gotten my first analyst job now. I'm a big boy, I'm a big girl. No, you still need to keep developing yourself because there are so many technological advancements that is happening throughout the world. And the Excel you know it 2 years ago might not be relevant in 2024. So you need to really advance your skills. Keep up. Now, another thing is that try and go on LinkedIn and follow data professionals. I'll give you an example of some of them. Fabi Yopeyemi is a data professional, like a big one. He's a senior consultant. He does data engineering, does all of those stuffs. Tosin Okpeniyi, those are examples of guys you can follow on LinkedIn. There's a lot of them. David F. Young, those are examples of the big boys in data that you can follow. There's a lot of them like that. That when you go on, that Nigerian guys that are really doing well in this data career, they are really doing well. You can follow them. For example, you can follow people. It's this guy called Oyinboki that works in Microsoft, David Abu, all of those guys. Please follow them on LinkedIn. Check their post. They post stuffs that can help you grow in this career, right? Before I joined this webinar, I was watching a video of Oyinboki on YouTube that was talking about how you can use Power BI to even do machine learning, to even helping you even write your DAX. That's the power of AI. So some of these things are things that you need to be well informed of. You need to keep yourself updated with the latest trends, the latest improvements in technology in your data career. Is very, very important so that you will not be left out. Now, another thing I will say last before I go is that when you are looking for a job, please be careful of the kind of company you look for that job. There are so many companies that will waste your time and they will waste your destiny. I'm just sorry to say that. They will waste your time and they will waste your God given ability. Please be careful. I met a lady that told me that she got a job in a company and her line manager was sending her to go and buy bread, to go and buy corn. And she was like, is that a work? analyst, be careful of the kind of company you work or you look for a job. Research well about the company. If, for example, talk to somebody that's working there on LinkedIn, let them tell you about that company. Before I take on any job, I will always reach out to somebody in that company to give me a little bit of background or gist about what is going on in that company before I take their offer. I'm always very careful. I don't want to work in toxic places. I don't want to work in a place where all my skill and talent will not be recognized. I don't want to work in a place where people that are working there are having low IQ or they are not technological savvy. It will really affect your career and it will waste your time. Please and please, let's be careful of the kind of job offers we will take as time goes on. We need to be very careful. Research well about the company, about their culture. How structured are they? Some startups will finish your career. Be very careful of where you work, the kind of jobs you take. Research well about the company. What do they do? I have seen companies where the CEO will be asking you what is Power BI. Does not even have an idea of what it is. Does not even know the usefulness of a data analyst. They are just employing data analysts because they feel like it's something that they must have, not because they really know how important or they really understand the context of the role. Please and please, I beg you, everybody, be careful of the kind of companies you work or where you take up job opportunities. Some companies will waste your time. Work in a company where your talent will really be utilized, where you will be recognized, where you will bring out insights that will help them, where your recommendations are actually going to be recognized. Please and please be very careful of the kind of jobs you take. So I'm going to end my notes by saying that please and please don't give up at any time. You're looking for a job, it can be tiring, it can be like you want to give up, it can be like should I even switch career? Maybe this career does not even pay me at all. A lot of things will come to your mind, but it's a lie, it's a work of the devil. Don't give up. Don't give up. Continue applying as much as you can. If I show you my email, how many jobs I've applied for in this life? I've heard so many. We regret to inform you. We regret to inform you. In fact, at the point, it became like my breakfast every morning. I will see. We are sorry to inform you that even though you have a good profile, but still on still, they are going to move on with other candidates. That does not stop me from applying for jobs. I keep applying for jobs. If I see any job today and I research about the company, I'm still going to give it a shot. I'm still going to apply. I'm still going to do that interview. I'm still going to keep going for interviews, right? And please be very careful when you go for interviews. There are so many 419 fraudulent companies that come under the pretense of HR consulting companies that are recruiting for people. Please be careful. When you get an interview, ask people about that company, about that HR company, about the interview, so that you will not fall into the hands of 419 or GLND or kidnappers. Please, let's be very careful out there. Don't be too desperate to get a job. Research, do your research well, pray and gain your skill and do what you can do and do your best and leave the rest to God. Thank you very much, everybody, for listening to me. Thank you very much. I end my note here.
Wow,
Mike,
thank you very much, Mr. Gbenga. That was a very knowledge-packed uh, webinar. Being able to break everything down, starting from letting us to understand what is expected of a data analyst and the different things to take note of while searching for job, especially having to get a good online presence, especially on LinkedIn, and also connecting with as many as possible in the same data space. And very importantly, not to give up while job hunting. This is very lovely. Thank you very much for your time. So, we've got some few questions here. So I'll just read them out to you so you can just answer them. The first person said, that I would love to transition into data analysis. What are the first steps I have to take? That's what the person asks. So I don't know if you can answer that.
Okay, thank you very much for that question. I've said that earlier that the first step is to learn the skill. Take as much courses as you can, enroll with Octave incorporations. They will teach you everything you need to know about data analytics. So the first step is learn first. Learn for as many platforms as you can. YouTube is there. You can learn on YouTube. Learn with companies that are offering trainings on just like what Octave is doing. So learn from them. So that is the way. That's the first step in learning data analytics.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the spotlight there. Yes, we also offer such programs. So if you're interested, you can enroll in our programs and then you can learn the skill. Another question is, someone is concerned that do I have to learn how to code to be a data analyst?
Okay, good question. Many people you used to ask me that. So you don't necessarily need to know how to code to become a data analyst, right? For example, Excel, Power BI, SQL. I can't really call what you are doing on those platforms coding per se. It's just knowing how to use logical statements to bring out what you are trying to do. So I would say yes, coding yes, and coding no. So depending on the tool you are using, if you're using Python, that means you are coding. There's nothing to argue about that. If you're using R programming for your analysis and reporting, that means you need to learn how to code. But if you're using tools like Power BI, Excel, that does not necessarily mean you need to know how to code. It's just to know how to use formulas, build dashboards, know how to model your data, and understanding primary and foreign keys and all of those concepts enable for you to be able to work as a data analyst. So coding yes and coding no, depending on the tool you are using and how you are carrying out your analysis.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Someone asked, please, what's your take for someone who wants to transition into data analysis, but at a point where I'm meant to be a senior, when I'm meant to be in a senior managerial position? I know
Mm,
starting would mean having to receive little or no payment.
mm. I get that kind of questions very well. So this is the way I will answer it. Now it all depends on you. What are you passionate about? What do you want? I've seen people that they had to start from the scratch, even though maybe they are in a sales career and they are already growing in that sales, maybe from a sales team lead to a sales manager. But because of the passion they have for tech, they had to start back from entry level job. So it all depends on you. If you feel that this thing you are really passionate about it, there's no big deal starting from the scratch. But that does not mean that you might start from the scratch, right? It all depends. As some people that started from another career path and switched to data analytics and they found themselves in mid-level career jobs. You don't have to actually start from entry level. So it all depends on where you are coming from and the kind of skill set you have prior going into the data analytics field. So everything all depends. There's no particular way to it. There's no one way to it, right? It depends on where you're coming from and how well you can package yourself, package your resume, say good things about yourself in the interview, and how well you can present the projects that you've worked on before and your experience will determine what organizations we use to determine whether you are fit for an entry level role or start from a mid level. So it all depends.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. I think there's a question here. What are the tools I need to learn as a data analyst? Do I have to learn both Tableau and Power BI, or I only need to know one of them?
Yes, that part is the part I didn't talk about because of our time. Well, what I will say. If you look at my screen, I hope you can all see my screen. Now, some of the basic tools you need to learn as a data analyst is that Excel is the basics. Excel is number one. Number one, Ogapawata is Excel. Hmm? Now you need to learn Power BI. You need to learn SQL. In fact, before you even learn Power BI, you should learn SQL. Learn SQL. I know so many times that because of my knowledge in SQL is not strong. It has really affected me for not getting a job, right? And which I'm working on at the moment too. Now, know SQL well, please, very important, because you can't say you're a data analyst and you don't even understand database. Database is where the data is coming from, right? So you need to learn SQL, you need to learn database management system. You need to understand this very well. Are you getting my point now? So Excel is the basics, learn SQL. Now you can choose either of Power BI and Tableau. Sometimes you might not be good in two tools at the same time. Now, this is what I will say. If you are good at Power BI, try to know about a little about Tableau. If you are good at Tableau very well, try and know a little about Power BI. Don't say because I'm very good with Tableau, I'm not learning Power BI. Don't say because I know Power BI, I'm not going to learn Tableau. No, have a little knowledge about almost everything, right? Now, Python and R too. Some will say either I know Python or either I know R. But if you know Python very well, at least know basics of R. If you are very good with R, at least have an idea of Python. That's the way it works, right? So all of these are things that you need to start with, right, in your data analyst career. I think I'm fine. Is there any other question?
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I think that was the last question. So, is there any closing remark you would love to give us as we round up this webinar? Thank you, sir.
Okay, closing remark. Okay. I will just say happy Easter to everyone, and I hope we are enjoying the Easter, and that we should not forget that Octave is actually can teach you all of these things. So enroll in one of their programs. You will learn a lot of things. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for finding time to attend the webinar. I'm sure that we all learned a lot, and I hope that we're going to use this information to, to do all it takes to get that job that we are all aspiring to get. Thank you once more, Mr. Gbenga Adeyemo. We really appreciate your time, and a happy Easter to you too. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Yeah. Thank you.